ربنا هب لنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. We have somehow generally established the four fundamental foundations of our being in this world. Not necessarily the principles of our religion, but that's why we make religion out of this understanding. We don't make this understanding out of religion. So our existence makes sense, or our being in this world makes sense only if we explain the existence of this world by attributing it to an absolute being who is the source of the existence of this world and gives existence to it, creates it. Then this universe becomes understandable, explicable. Otherwise, we will be lost as human beings. It will be contrary to our human nature. That must be established first. If someone says, no, I don't need to believe in God, that's his choice, because as a human being, I think everybody shares this idea, but I can speak on my own behalf only. I cannot explain the world in another way, the existence of this world. So when we look at the type of existence, the form of existence, it means the type of creation, the form of creation, there is a strange relationship or bridge I have to establish between the absolute source of this creator and absolute source of the creator and this ever transient, ever changing world. For many people, throughout the ages of humanity, I believe, but of course written history tells us that the people have been always interested in explaining this world and the reason behind its existence. They took it seriously and they questioned, especially as human beings, being conscious beings. That is an interesting point. We cannot really, or the interesting aspect of existence, because we cannot really ignore ourselves. As, for example, as I have stomach, when I am hungry, I eat. That's my reality. That's how I am. And cut it short, as I have conscience, and my conscience urges me continuously to question what is the meaning of your existence in this world. So I force myself to understand and make sense of this existence, the world outside, and my own existence. And my consciousness says, how can you relate this ever-changing world to an absolute being necessarily must be the creator of this world? But I'm going from the word to the absolute being, not from the absolute being to the word. That is very important, that we have to always be careful about. We should never take our belief for granted. It's not a belief. If we take our belief for granted, it can't be belief. So belief requires certainty. Certainty requires assurance. I can share this much with you. The Prophet Muhammad, as we are told, historically, used to be Amin before he was a mu'min. The significance of his told in the history that Amin means he's a trustworthy man. And I have been thinking about it, and I say, no, it can't be this. He was Amin of himself. That's why he was trustworthy. That's why he was an honest man. He was not contradicting himself. That means he was always in peace with himself. He was in peace, Amin, within himself. Within himself. So after being Amin in one's own existence, then only then can a person be a believer. If I am not Amin, I can't be mu'min. That's why we have to understand our own being as urged, supported, urged through my consciousness, forcing me to ask, what on earth you are doing here in this world? So if I am sure of my being in this world and find out a way of explaining, it means really justifying my choice in this world to carry on my existence. It means, very briefly, not to commit suicide, not to kill myself. Why should I? Because my conscience says, what is the meaning of your being in this world? If I say, no meaning, I say, why bother to carry the burden of life? Yeah, I know everybody knows that at the end I am going to die anyways. You know? So why not to give an end to my life and finish it? But whether we notice or we are aware of this fact or not, what we do, we carry on our existence without really being a mean in our existence by ignoring it. But if you don't ignore it, you will find a reason of the being in this world. It means reason for your existence or being alive in this world rather than killing ourselves. We have to be a mean, certain, sure, confident in our being. So this is not an easy issue at all. That many people have been struggling how to establish this security in our being in this world. So when we really try to communicate with the rest of the world through using our human qualities, especially our consciousness, which urges us to ask questions. Why is it that? What does it mean, all these things going on around us? We cannot really turn blind to it, this reality, but we may just ignore it, but at the cost of, we may ignore it, at the cost of leaving our humanity behind. It means, if I don't question, I'm not a human being anymore. I am a living being, not a human being. What makes a human being what makes a living being a human being? Living being plus some other human qualities, mainly consciousness. Consciousness of our reasoning, consciousness of our feeling, consciousness of our ability to question. If somebody doesn't question, he's not a human being, he's a living being. We understand what what it means. So when we question the existence of the world, it continues to change. That's the most problematic aspect of this world, because this world is not fixed. This world is not static. It is continuously changing. So we are used to cheating ourselves. Cheating ourselves. Even the majority of the greatest philosophers choose this easy way out to cheat themselves, saying that, you know, the thing which existed now or existed yesterday is changing into this new situation now that I'm experiencing. How change occurs with its difference, because nothing repeats itself. Nothing repeats itself. I'm not the same person now as I was yesterday. No one can say that I am the same man. No, it is impossible. I am not the same person as I was driving to come here without delay, so try my best not to be late. Now I am sitting. It's another creation. It's another person. And every day we know that in the course of time, we notice that, changes are going on every moment at every level, endless level. Not only my external appearance is changing, my internal qualities are changing, my biological body is changing, and at an endless layers of existence, as Ghazali says. 70,000 people, 70,000 veils between me as a created being and the absolute source. What are they? You see that, galaxies change, solar system change. I'm taking the system to our main abode in this world here. So Earth is changing, and seasons are changing, position of life, and the moon and Earth, the globe of Earth, is continuously changing, and I am changing. My cells are changing. The cells within the cells, the atoms are changing. Within the atoms, electrons are changing. Neutron is changing. Layers by layers. Particles are changing. Nothing is stable, fixed. And who is realizing this change? I am not taking myself from today into tomorrow. It is not like this that we are used to explaining the beings like this. Here are my glasses. The glasses were here, and I took them and put them here. The existence is not taking like this at all. And most of the philosophers ignore this reality. Not necessarily Western philosophers, no, Muslim philosophers also, coming from Muslim societies, ignore this reality. The change is taking place at a radical level. It means a completely different particle. A moment ago, a particle existed. A moment later, completely different particle exists, but similar. So what? It can be similar. Similar doesn't mean that the previous one makes the other one, because it looks like it, not exactly the same. It's a completely different reality that we are experiencing. So we somehow, to a certain extent, if you like, dig into this, delve into this matter. How can I explain the change from one moment into another moment, that the material changing world is coming into existence continuously. It means, yeah, it never, the existence never gives a break to its being. It continuously exists, but it continues to change too. So the Quran suggests that this continuously changing universe or beings or existence is the result of divine volition. What does it mean? God's will. Now, when whatever He wills, it is there. It is something like that is just an analogy. Don't misunderstand. That is really it's just an analogy to understand. First, that Habib is my best friend, so I can speak on his behalf. Habib is thinking of, but I saw your wife. Where is she now? I don't see her now. So she's got, no, maybe behind it. So, but, oh, whatever. Okay. He is imagining that he is with his wife in the other room or somewhere else. You can imagine it, all right? Of course, you cannot give existence to what you imagine, right? You cannot give existence to what you imagine, but for the imagination, you can understand that if you had the power and quality to create what you imagine, your will to imagine something will be enough for that object to exist. Do you understand this? That's very radical, very, very essential matter. We have to understand that. God says, when I will something, I just will it and say it, metaphoric teaching, say it, be and it is. It means when I will it, it happens. How can I understand this? God, the same creator, gave me the ability to understand, you will it, you imagine. But you cannot create. But the universe, because you cannot show that you can really create, but the universe shows that whoever will, this universe has created it. So my power to imagination, or power of imagination, is the source of understanding, or the example of understanding that the absolute creator wills it, that happens. Creates. Absolute creator. Wills it, it happens. How? As I will it, I can imagine something, that imagination happens. This is what I mean. That's an analogy given to us in order to comprehend this creation, act of creation out of will. Do you get it at all? It's a very essential one, yeah?
So is the change because of the linearity of time? Like we're always moving forward in time, so it's constantly changing?
No, there's no time. Time is the continuation of the change, creation.
So the change is outside of time.
There is no such a thing has an external existence which is called time. But as we follow the change, as human beings has the ability to record the previous experience, so because of this recording the previous experience, we expand the dimension of existence, and we call this expansion time. So there is no reality time. Yes, there is a reality time for me. Yes, yesterday existed, I'm sure of it. Today is existing, I'm sure of it. And I'm expecting tomorrow that will exist. Expecting. Not sure yet. We don't know, but expecting. If the Creator wills it, as He willed it today to exist, it will exist. So linear things are our expansion of observation of the existence as recorded in our minds. So we have the ability to remember what happened yesterday. That's it. And this is real. It's not imagination. It's real. That I remember what happened yesterday. I remember what happened when I was such and such years old. So how do we understand this change in the world as willed with its creator, or by its creator, sorry, as willed by its creator? I cannot go out of the existence of this existing world, the universe, and observe how the God is doing, how God is doing. I cannot do that. But what I can do, it doesn't mean that I am helpless. No, I can do what I can do. I look at this world and observe how it is coming into existence. And I say, okay, it must be so that God's will is represented by a kind of creatures which execute his will in the form of created being. These are called angels. But the Quran says it's angels. If you don't like it, find another word. So what I can see in this world is just the execution of the, if you like, transformers of will, absolute will, into temporary world. This one. It happened like this, happened like this. As they execute the will of the Creator, and I can see that execution is out there. Here I am. Here I am. So these transformers are angels. What I can say, the Creator's will is performed, executed by some sort of creatures again that I am experiencing, I am touching, I am contacting, I am thinking, I am questioning. So the Quran says these are angels. Okay, fine. I say angels. So God descends down or sends his message through angels. God sends the act of creation through angels. So I can explain this word only in terms of angels executing God's will. That's the, if you like, cosmology of the Quran presents to us. Angels, they directly execute what God said, and they cannot do anything else. That's how it is described in the sayings or explanations of the Prophet. We say, yeah, we can see any contradiction, we can see any trace of rebellion, rebellious action, we can see no disobedience to the owner, the controller, or the Lord of the universe. There I am experiencing everything perfectly in tune. It means within a perfect order, within a perfect balance, and every action, if you deeply study, manifests the qualities of the absolute being. Because we always say this in our discussions, because it's so essential. Nothing without an absolute quality can be the source of existence of this universe. Study it. Because nothing can bring anything into existence if this source is a part of this universe. We cannot experience it. We cannot see anything. Something is bringing into existence as a part of this universe, because it itself, anything in the world, it itself is subject to continuous change. So existence is sustained by the one who realizes this continuous change.
So you say that angels exist to execute God's will, to create, to enact, to change. Does it work the other way around? Does God's will manifest itself without angels, or do we see this as just, two one-way streets?
So it is not. It is from one aspect. It is two ways, not one way, two ways street. How we understand that they must receive the will and transform it into this limited, created, temporary appearance of existence. So that we cannot directly relate the continuously changing world to an absolute source. You cannot. And we human beings cannot. That's the way that the Quran presents us to understand the existence. God's commands, it means wills, have been carried away, executed, and enacted by something that transforms it. For example, let's assume that we don't see the sun, but we see the reflection of the qualities of the light of sun. Okay? But that's an example. Don't confuse the example. We see the sun, but let's assume that I see something continuously flipping, flickering. Is it? Flickering. Something is flickering there. All right? But continuously changing, continuously changing. So I say, is it from the mirror, the glass? I dig into the glass. It's not the source of the light. So I can dig into the particle. It's not the source of its own existence. It cannot create itself. It cannot give existence to itself. It cannot give existence to it. It is second form, if you like, because we tie them up. In reality, nothing is tied. Nothing is tied. But because of our observation, we say, the particle was here, particle A was here, now particle B. Very similar, but not exactly the same. Because when we look at the whole of the creation, we see nothing but change. Nothing exactly the same. So in the micro level, the change must take place so that I see in the macro level the absolute and obvious, obvious change. So if someone says, your atoms are continuously changing and moving, your cells are continuously doing something, like chemical reactions are going on here. I say, you must be joking. Come on, I'm here fixed, I'm stable. What do you mean by? But when you go into the cell and put it under a very powerful electron microscope, you see that as if big factories working within a small cell. They say in 1 second, 5,000 different chemical reaction is taken place in one cell. We move comfortably, we think, we see, we hear, we think that we are simple beings. No! We are extremely sophisticated, complicated creatures. So nothing is fixed, nothing is the same. They're all changed. For example, can you say, for example, that a factory is producing something? We know that the object, whatever they produce, is undergoing a process from this section to this section to this section to this section. As it goes, something is added to it. Something is added to it. At the end, the core metal becomes a car. I understand that at each stage, it was subject to change. So something created a new. It must be so. That's why we have to establish our cosmology in its entirety, saying that what I can see the result of creation, and I can explain that this result of creation is like a mirror reflecting the light of the sun. And it is not the source of the light. That's how we see. If you like, the mirror, if you like, it's an example. Angel, the absolute power manifesting in it, the absolute creators must be from an absolute source. So what I can see, the reflections coming from where? Continue. The reflections are coming from the mirror in the example. It means execution of the angels. That's why we see nothing but angels in the world. Can you do that? Can you have this vision of existence? You are within an ocean of angels. And angels are operating in my being. How sacred the being is. Not only human beings are sacred, according to the teachings of the Quran. You know, the blood of human being is specifically sacred for social order. Otherwise, every single being is sacred. No, we don't really, how do you say, homocentric, no, how do they say, homo something centric universe. Yeah, but theocentric universe. Why? Everything is sacred, everything points to its creator. Saying that, look, my source is absolute. How? Through the speech of the mirror, as the Quran says, through the speech of the angels. They proclaim, they exalt the names, the qualities of the Creator. And to the observations, to the understandings, perception of conscious beings to human beings. So what's going on here? The angels are saying that, look, my Creator, the Creator of this thing that where I reflect, proclaiming the absolute, the qualities of the absolute one who created it. That is the foundations of Quranic cosmology. We don't buy the stupid thing that the things are developing by themselves. I'm not crazy. What do you mean by developing that? Nothing develops by itself. Cannot change from one to another moment. I cannot change myself into another moment. I am here a conscious being. Yeah? I'm huge, you know. With the capacity wise, I am, I don't know, zillions times more qualified to get hold of my existence than a particle. And I cannot even take one cell into another moment, give it existence in a different way, change it. Never forget this. If you are carefully thinking, never take the change for granted. Change means a new creation, a new form of creation. That's why some people, maybe secularist people, maybe not, none of our business, they say there is endless universes, the theory of physics. Endless universes. What does it mean? They understood that, no, none of the universe at every moment is the same. So it's different universe. Right? It's a different universe. So there is endless acts of the manifestations of the absolute qualities of God executed by angels. Here we are. So we don't mind whatever happens in this world is the execution of angels of God, the Creator, including myself. Feel free. If the angel of death comes to you, welcome, as other angels welcome it. We like the world as it is, don't we? We want to carry on our existence, yes. We love it. So why not in another form of existence? Why do you bother about death? Why? It's another form of existence. Do you bother about this at all? It doesn't mean that we are going to kill ourselves. No. If it is executed at the will of God by an angel, I welcome. Right? Really, we are really unique. They are young. They may not feel that, that is far away, so forget about it. So we are ready when the angel of death comes. Welcome, man. Would you like to give a hug to the angel of death? So this is the completion of our ontology. It means really cosmology. How do we explain this? So how do we explain the universe? So when you complete that, the second stage comes epistemology. It means meaning of this wonderful, wonderful, amazing, awesome creation. And we keep asking, this is awesome, all right. It's coming from an absolute source, all right, I understand. And everything is really executed by angels according to the will of the Creator. I can observe this, all right. What's the meaning of this then? And the Creator sends his message. Yeah, he sends his message in two forms. Yeah, one, the message that I can see in the reflections, through the reflections in the mirror. It means as it is proclaimed by the angels in the creation. Yeah, we don't see the, if you are conscious of what's going on in the world, if someone says, what did you see? You say, I saw a bird. No, you didn't see a bird. You didn't see a bunch of angels' exaltation of the names, the qualities of it, the Creator of the bird. They are singing, not the bird is singing, they are exalting, they are really exclaiming it means glory of the Creator to you, so that you see what? Nothing but the manifestations, the executed forms, they are called created forms of the qualities of the Creator. This world. So that's the message now. The Creator must speak to me and tell me, the maker of this computer, I am not a computer engineer. I don't know how to use it. I don't know how the programs work. So the computer, the engineer of the computer, or the engineer of the program that this computer is made of, if it is he or she or they are wise people, they should help laymen like me who don't understand, who doesn't understand anything with the program. So how to use the machine. So if they are wise, which is confirmed by the computer itself. No, it's whoever made this, he's a wise man. or the people. So if they are wise, which is proved by the existence of the computer itself, which means they are really wise, so they should definitely think of sending a message or preparing a manufacturer's handbook to me as an user. So this user must be, well, of course, it's not our subject today, must be user-friendly. It means he must speak the guidelines or the handbook of the manufacturer's handbook must tell me as a person who is an amateur, who is not really expert on computer. So I need a handbook definitely for the computer to operate it. Otherwise, what I do, I break it. I really break it, and the computer will be corrupt. So what is expected from this wise engineer to tell me what to do with my existence and with my universe? How can I utilize it? What shall I do with it? What does it mean? So he must speak to me in a way that I understand. That is called tanazzul, how do you say, descending down, speaking at my level. These are called messages. The Bible, the Torah, the Psalms, the Quran, messages from the Creator, speaking to us, what are we going to do with this universe? What is the meaning of my being in this universe? All the questions that are risen by my consciousness. They are by my consciousness. What shall I do in this world? Why am I here? So the message, that's not our topic today, but we can talk about it, must be in another section, must be read as an answer to my human acquisition. It means questioning. I want to understand. If, again, I always say this, and some people may say it's very repetitive. Okay, I accept that. You know, you can say this man keeps repeating himself. All right, I accept this. I keep, because it's worth it. It's really worth it. If I don't question, the revelation doesn't speak to me. For example, here is the computer, and it's a little bit big, but let's say an iPhone, I don't want to use it. I don't want to understand how it works. I don't want to utilize it. And there is a manufacturer's manual next to it. Do I bother to read it? I'm not going to use it. Yeah? So if I don't bother to read the manual book, it means I have no intention to use it. So we say, oh, some people don't look for the manual book or in a manufacturer's manual. They don't look for it. They don't read it as we understand the speech, if you like, the guideline of the maker of this universe, but they use it. What they do, they destroy it. You know, without using the guidelines from the manufacturer, I destroy the machine. So, but what we usually do, we don't bother to read it because we don't ask the question, what am I going to do with it? I put it in my pocket. Yeah, let's get this cell phone. I put it in my cell phone. I say, I have a cell phone. Does it work? No, I don't know. I don't bother. None of my business. So handbook doesn't speak to you. It means if you want to question, it means really follow your impetus. Within you, the questioning power has been used, has been put within you. If you don't use it, you will never get any answer from the speech of the creator or manual book. So manual book speaks. If you question, if you say, what am I going to do with this here, the key here, what is the function of it? And this is a question, yeah? And then I go to the manual book and see what the manual book says about it. If I don't wonder about any question, it means if I have no question, manual book doesn't speak to me. Although I may carry the Quran with me. Doesn't matter. It doesn't speak to you. As if you are carrying the manual book and the iPhone in your pocket, we never use it. Okay. And that's why the Quran speaks to us if only we ask questions. We wonder what's going on in this world, what's expected from me, what's the meaning of the existence, what's the purpose in our being here, and who made us and why did he make it, what is expected from us by the maker. If I don't bother about it, if I don't question about it, there is no answer from the Quran. No question, no answer. That's our motto. Huh? That's maxim. No question, no answer. But I memorized the Quran. None of my business. No question, no answer. Because you can only understand the Quran or benefit from the Quran if only you ask the question. Bother to ask the question. It means really use your consciousness, human consciousness, that asks questions. Always questions. Okay. That's the first stage in the search of the meaning of existence. The second stage in the search of the meaning of existence, that's called epistemological aspect of this. There is an instructor employed by the creator and given this message to me in order to teach me how really I should utilize this handbook and how really I should practice it. Like exactly you come to the universities or education institutions and you get the textbook, but there is an instructor, professor next to it. So you work with the textbook through the instructorship of the professor. So otherwise, if there was no instructor, you will be left alone to understand the teachings of the text. It means in the Muslim case, Quran, or Islamic case, not Muslim. In the case of Islam, the Quran. In the case of Christianity, the Bible. Whatever we see that this is the instruction from my God. Okay, sorry, not instruction. This is the handbook from my God. Guiding speech from my God. Who is your instructor? How do you get this? You have to ask. And if someone says, in our religion there is no prophet, no, it's not complete, sir. Sorry. You should have an instructor. So today's discussion is how to be with this instructor. The Quran says, you can read now. All of you? Comfortable? Who feels comfortable? Yeah. Bismillah. No, excuse me. We studied this. No, I'm not wearing my. Today's discussion is this. Yeah.
وما كان الله معذبهم وهم يستغفرون.
Okay.
But God would not punish them while you are with them, nor will He punish them while they seek forgiveness.
Okay. The second part of the verse is not the subject of our discussion today, but the first part is the heart of the topic, today's topic. Is the prophet with us? Is the prophet somewhere there hiding in the corner or there? Or where is he? It's not with us. Oh, if he is not with us, we are going to be punished. It means, punished means somebody is going to come and beat me up. No, no, no. Punishment means here is the universe. Example, metaphor is the computer. I want to learn it. I can't make it. Oh, what does it mean? Why does it work in this way or another way? I go crazy. So I make up stories saying, you know, it may be this, it may be that, this wrong, something wrong with this machine. Accuse the machine. So the engineers. That's what's going on in the world without prophet, without the messenger. Now, is the messenger with us? No. Look at certain understanding. Those people who are immersed in historical information, in some tribes, God sent them prophets, but what they did, they rebelled him. Okay. In the past, it happened, all right. And they rebelled so much that they deserve God's punishment, God's wrath. Well, okay. So what happened? So God took the prophet away from them and punished them, smashed them. That's the history. Be careful here. I'm not being sarcastic, but the methodology is ridiculous. Okay. If it was so, why does God tell me this while I am trying to learn how to use the computer? Yes, the universe, myself. Something happened before to those people didn't listen to the prophet and didn't pay attention to the message we sent through the prophet. It means they didn't read the handbook and didn't listen to the manual book. They were destroyed by God, and but before they were destroyed, the prophet was taken away from them. Okay, well, he can do everything. Here is the universe. I understand, but excuse me, why do you tell me this to me? Oh, the prophet must be with you. Excuse me, is there any prophet around us? You look like a different guy. So, is there any prophet around us? What's going on here? What I should learn from this verse? What does it mean, really? If the prophet is not with us, if the prophet is not with us, then the punishment will be with me. So it means the prophet is away, so punishment will come. So the answer must be simple. Yeah. No, it's not the subject, our subject today. But something else. It's correct, but today's subject is. Let's concentrate on how should we have the prophet with us. Okay, there is another way of having the prophet with me. How? For example, we're taking the volumes of the books. Yeah. The narrating hadith. Really, to carrying, now everybody has the iPhone, and even on the iPhone you can, or the computers, you can have 6 different accepted books, which are called Kutub al-Sitta, narrating the hadith sayings and narrations and recordings from the life of the Prophet. So carrying this with me, that the prophet is not with me, but his sayings are with me. That's one way of understanding. The second way of understanding is No, we have to read it. We have to put it into practice, what we read. No, that's second stage of understanding. These are all, to a certain extent, true. But what is essential for me? What is essential for me? To be conscious of the existence of the prophets, messengers. I must make sure myself, look, as the sun exists, the clouds exist, the people exist, the earth exists, my body exists, and the message exists, and the messenger exists. The messenger exists. Now the body, no, the messenger, the concept of messengership exists. You know, this word has an owner. This word has been transformed from an absolute word into a transient word through angels. This word is accompanied with the not only actions of the Creator, but also speech, guidance in the form of word is also here. And the one who represents this message in the form of a human being that I can understand, I can really emulate as a human being, is with me. If you lose this consciousness, the messenger is away and we are punished. It means I don't have my instructor with me. I try to make sense of this word by myself. I mess up. I have to bear in mind that there's an instructor. There must be an instructor. Then look for the instructor. This attitude saves you. And then the action, the necessary corollary of this understanding attitude, follows it. You say, how did the prophet understood the word? How did the prophet believe in God? How did he, if you believe in God, how did the prophet believe in angels? How did the prophet believe in the eternal life? How did the prophet believe in the message of God? So I should get instruction from him. Never do everything, but never reduce the messengership to measure the length of your beard. It is an, how do you say, very dangerous reduction. Yes, you can do, but this consciousness must have the priority, primordial concern for your life here. I am with my messenger. I have a messenger next to me. If someone says, how do I understand this word? Let's ask the professor. This awareness, this consciousness is a must. And then you start understanding the messengership accordingly. If you miss this part, this prime part, then what you do, you reduce the sayings of the prophet to the level of only material or action-wise things, not theoretical matters. So what the prophet said, we studied this, the difference between hadith and sunnah. Yeah, the prophet said, do this and that, so I have to do it. In which conditions he did? In order to fulfill what? What is the main mission of the prophet? Ask these questions. And then this professor is speaking to me in order to teach me, for example, how to do this experiment in the lab. He is just preparing the ground for it. So I'm going to get ready. So when I go to the lab, I shouldn't really burn myself. Okay, let's call it the chemistry lab. I shouldn't really burn myself. This awareness is definitely prerequisite. The prerequisite, without which you can't really understand the hadith. You can't really get sunnah of the Prophet. If I ask you, what is the most important sunnah of the Prophet is? Your answer may be not to listen to music. Now, it's fashion. Everybody talks about it. So the most important sunnah, the way the Prophet lived, is to become an amin man, a secure man, a man in peace with his own being, not contradicting himself. So are you aiming at, I shouldn't contradict my human reality? For example, when you have your understanding of the world, it should not contradict your human reality. You shouldn't act like an ape, just imitating your forefathers, your father, your mother, or somebody says, I'm the knowledgeable one. Repeat after me, Go to the masjid and say, oh, brother, welcome. You embrace this, mashallah, barakallah. And the man said, what? Mashallah, what does it mean? What do they talk about? And then said, okay, repeat after me. All right, ashadu. So what happened? Are you playing a game? What are you doing, man? The Prophet did not do that. The notion of Prophet says, who are you? Did you think of yourself? Did you contemplate on your own existence? Did you come up with a bewilderment, saying that, what is this huge universe? Why am I here questioning this huge reality out there? What's my reality? The first step, we should not turn people into an ape. Give them real reason that the message Quran presents to us. What does it present to us? La ilaha illallah. How? Renews your perspective of the universe, renews your vision of existence. So your view changes completely. That's what the messenger is about in the world, to make me change my worldview. So I will see, as we talk today, that where are you now? We are in this world. We have to struggle. It's very difficult to get a job nowadays. I have applied for applied 100 different companies waiting for a reply. Have you ever thought that the Prophet was always with angels? He never worried about anything. It doesn't mean that he didn't do anything. No. Worried. Worrying is different from doing your job, your part, asking your God to create it for you, whatever you want, whatever you feel that you need it. But worrying and getting disappointed, despair. Have you? He is not a prophet. If someone despairs, he's not a prophet. It means he's really not really concentrating on the message that he received and he is expected to carry, or he is charged with transforming the message to human beings and being an example for them. If the message bearer is really disappointed, and what am I supposed to do? So is my professor said, I don't know really what to do in this very strange and weird circumstances. We don't know what to do. Come on, damn you. Right? What do you do? You just quit school. It means quit the universe, existence. There is no need to live anymore. Meaningless. So we should understand, we should develop a concept of messengership which really convinces me, and I am always with this concept of messengership. So I will always try to see or hear the voice of the Creator speaking to me. For example, when I look at here, so I'm looking at this, a voice says, these are the things that glorify God, glorify me. Listen up to them and join their glorification. But what are you doing? I am just really enjoying the orchestra, the harmony, the musical proclamation of the glorification of God in this world. I am saying, with the Arabic word, the word, it is used in the Quran, Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. Yeah, in Arabic, you know, if you don't know, you said, glory be to God. He is awesome. He is wonderful. You are full of joy now. Not only when you come to the masjid and when you start reciting the Quran, make it as much as possible, as much melodical as possible, so make it beautiful. The universe is the melody. Yeah? Universe is really screaming. So the message is there coming. Come on, join this, if you like, orchestra. And the messenger said, come on, I am the orchestra chief, is it right? Right word? Conductor, huh? Conductor of the orchestra. Come on, let's say all together, Allahu Akbar. That's the messenger. So if you reduce, if you don't see this aspect of the messengership and keep it alive in yourself, you will be punished. It means you will mess up everything. And of course, inevitable result is, unfortunately, to live on pills, to shut you up. Don't think, dump yourself. And crisis upon crisis. So get the gun in your hand and go to a school and kill 20 young people and revenge your ego. They can do that. Because meaningless. And then kill themselves. Messed up. The punishment is with them. Of course, we are talking in terms of, in black and white terms, but in reality, nothing is black and white. In reality, we have grays, some of them dark, sometimes darker grays, sometimes lighter grays, gray color. It means we have always grades, degrees, you know, awareness. For example, how much are you aware of the existence of the speech of God echoing through the universe, hearing the voice of God in the universe? 1%, 5%, some people 10%, but we are just talking about black and white about it in black and white terms. Either you hear this voice or you don't. So if you want to be on the right track, choose the direction which will lead you to hearing the voice. For the prophethood, either you are aware of the existence of the messenger in this universe. The universe is never without a messenger. But I can turn blind to this reality, close my ears, and messenger is not with me. And then I have to receive the punishment. What is the, is it the curse of God? No, 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 no. The wrath of God? No, no. It is the mercy of God telling me that, for example, I am going somewhere without GPS. Nowadays, GPS. No, let's talk it in our reality. I got on the car, and where are you going? Inshallah, I go to Philadelphia today. So I'm going to Philadelphia. Do you know the way? No, but I'm going. What if I don't know the way? Really? Without the GPS, what I do? What do? I get lost. It's my reality. But if I know that there is GPS, which gives me direction, there may be other ways, but practically speaking, I'm not speaking in practical terms, I'm speaking in terms of metaphor. If I say, no, I'm going to Philadelphia and there is a GPS which will guide me, I should never forget to take the GPS with me. That awareness is the awareness of the existence of the messengers. If you are going somewhere, if someone says, Tariq tells me that I'm going to New Jersey as well, okay, are you going to drive? Let's assume he's not in reality, but example, yes, I'm going to drive. Do you know the way? No. And did you get the GPS? No, I don't need it practically. But why should I need the prophet with me now? And I can find my own way. That's it, to get lost. This verse says, God would not punish. Let me speak in my name, on my own behalf. God will never punish me while the prophet is with me. It means I will never get lost while the GPS is with me. I'm talking in terms of consciousness, awareness. So the details you study, but this awareness, this consciousness should never be neglected. If you neglect this aspect and reduce the prophet, the prophet is needed when I come to the masjid, when I decide to pray, I don't know how to pray. The prophet is going to tell me how to pray. Okay, he tells you, yes, that's correct. But when you are not in the masjid, when you are not praying, then the prophet, you don't need the prophet. While you are just looking at the sky, you don't need the prophet because you are not aware of it. That the prophet is for this. So you will be punished. It means when you look at the weather, it looks like it's going to rain, horrible. You can easily say this. Because you are not really looking at the clouds under the guidance of the prophet. So your interpretation of the clouds, your understanding, perception of existence, and if something happens to you that you don't like, you go crazy. I go crazy, not you. I go crazy. If something happens that I don't like, and I'm joking, but if I ask my wife to do something, if she doesn't do it, I am the husband. No, I am the head of the family. That I remember then, if she doesn't obey me. So, because I'm not with the prophet, because I look for the prophet only when I am going to make my ablution, when I am going to fast. So I remember, what is the sunnah in fasting, brother? Come on, let's list them. What's the sunnah in praying, or the wajib in praying, or the haram in praying? Let's put and list them. If someone says, if you do this while we are fasting, it is your prayer is, or your fasting is abolished, or I'm saying not acceptable. And then, what is your evidence? It means bring an hadith about it. So the prophet only speaks when we perform, or when our rituals are meant in question. It is a reduction. It's not completely wrong. No. the whole life must be based on the Prophet. Whole life, not only your rituals. So the sunnah, what is sunnah in prayers? What is sunnah in fasting? No. What is sunnah in watching the sky, the stars? What is sunnah in, for example, just sitting and looking at an ant walking on the ground? What is sunnah, your relationship with the ant? How the Prophet did so. Or what did he teach you? Because, but I don't know. Are you aware that in order to establish your relationship with the ant on the floor, according to the exemplary teaching of the Prophet, if you are aware of it, if you don't know, you say, you know, there is an instructor, there is an, of course, manual book, and there is an instructor. For the moment, I don't know what to do with this key, and I'm aware. Oh, I'll go and ask my professor, sir, yes, sir, what do you do with this key here? What's the function of it? You are always with the Prophet. Do you fail? No, because you are aware of the existence of the instructor with you. If you don't know, let's say I didn't know. It means I am aware that I need the instruction, but I didn't know what the instructor told me or is telling me, because I may be ignorant, which is the case. Now I'm ignorant, which is the case. So I say, this key, look at this fine points, very fine points. This key has a function. I don't know how to operate it, but Professor knows. I'll ask him. That consciousness saves you. Acknowledge that the Prophet is with you. It means Prophet exists. Messengership exists. And what do? You don't mess up. You don't do as you want. You don't just follow your own choice. What do? You choose to follow the instruction of the Prophet. If you didn't know now, but you are aware that you will know it because you are aware that the Prophet is here. Otherwise, my creator and the maker of the computer is crazy, creating this and giving me the impulse to use it, and not showing me how to do it, not giving me guidance how to use it, not sending me an instructor to guide me how to really put this knowledge that I gather from the textbook into practice. It means in the lab of the universe, I need the instructor. So this consciousness completes your cosmology. If someone says, who are you? It's a big question, man. Come to me to my house today. Don't take him to the restaurant, house. Familiar, friendly, loving relationship. Come to my house. Let's, it will be dinner time. We can eat dinner and talk hours. Because you don't say, who are you? My name is Ali, I'm from Turkey. What happens? Don't be ridiculous, man. You are the student of the Quran. Quran never says that you are from Pakistan or Turkey. Quran says you are from the world of the Spirit. You are from the world of the Spirit. And you acknowledge that who your Lord is. It means with this quality you have been created. So the man will say, no, ask you, no, who are you? How do you see yourself? And you don't tell me your name and, the standard, regular way of introduction. I can't, because I am a student of the Quran. Quran never lets me define this in this way. And the Prophet never defined himself in this way. in his relationship with the rest of the people around him. So don't reduce religion only to a fraction of your life. It's not religion. It becomes just puppet, repeating certain things. That's it. What we have to enlarge our view of the reality of existence, our view of the reality of the Creator and my relationship with Him, and make it real for yourself. Make your life meaningful, as well as the existence of everything becomes meaningful. Otherwise, we live in a meaningless world with the imitation that claiming that we are Muslims. And some people are proud of being Christians. Of course, the Christian God is the loving God, isn't it? No, not like the Muslim God who fights, legitimizes war. So we are better than you. The Jews say, come on, we are the chosen people. Don't make me laugh. This is the competition that we have to join in this world. That's why we are created with this huge human capacity to join this competition. My community, your community, my nation, your nation, my tribe, your tribe. Quran says, the Prophet also instructs, stop tribal competition. You were not created for this. You are created to observe the universe as the worshipper of the Creator of this universe. Know your value. You are the best of the creatures. Best qualified, equipped with the quality to communicate with your Creator. That's your purpose of existence. That's what we learn from the Quran. It's not a simple matter. So, inshallah, the Prophet will be with us. And as long as the Prophet is with me, there is no punishment. Don't worry. You may not know it. You may not know it. So don't think of the Prophet in the form of flesh and bones. Yeah, he used to be in the form of flesh and bones, but that was the Muhammadun Abdu, the Prophet as his creature, his worshipper, his abd. But wa Rasuluh is eternal, as the messenger is eternal. So get this eternal dimension of the messenger and join in this eternity with him. It means as long as we exist, the Prophet is with you, must be with you, with me, and this consciousness, as long as this consciousness exists with me, inshallah, God willing, no bother, no problem, no stress, no anger, no controlling your will or temper. Now, just you say, okay, I don't know what to do in this case. What the Prophet used to do, why? He brought this message to me. Everything is created by God. Yeah, okay. And a purpose, and there is wisdom in the creation of everything. Rather than getting angry, you say, what's the wisdom in the creation of this event? Somebody is insulting me, for example. What's the wisdom? Let me understand this. The people will say, don't you get angry? He's insulting you. I'm trying to understand the wisdom in his insulting me. That's what I learned from the Prophet. So keep cool. Don't get overwhelmed. Yeah? The existence of the concept of messengership in yourself saves you from the punishment. So I love this word. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُعَذِّبَهُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ فِيهِمْ. As long as you are, sorry, is it right? وَأَنْتَ فِيهِمْ, yes, وَأَنْتَ فِيهِمْ. The messenger is with you. This message is to me. He's not speaking to certain people in history and gone. And he's speaking to me, isn't it, this verse? God, the Quran is the eternal speech of God, isn't it? Isn't it? When it comes to claims, we say, of course, Quran is valid until the end, doomsday, the end of time. Huh? Well, it is valid, it's correct. Interpret this word for me right now. Interpret this word for me right now. Don't take me into history, which I don't know. The Quran is the speech of God in order to tell me stories. God is not a storyteller. Don't make me laugh. God is not a storyteller. What are they? So it is with you, it is for you and for me right now. When you read it, as the definition of the Quran, Quran is the eternal speech of God, valid every moment for everybody. Then he says, you have to have your prophet with you, messenger with you. Otherwise, you will be punished. It means really messed up. And you will mess up with your life. It's a beautiful guidance. Thank you very much. Please, inshallah, pray for me and for us. Inshallah, please ask God to help us to bring this consciousness afore. Yeah? And really help us. Because these are the dimensions of the Quran and the message of God that we need to be aware of most. Isn't it? Most. Otherwise, we turn religion into certain institution and start collecting money for building, to make buildings. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
أفمن شرح الله صدره للإسلام فهو على نور من ربه فويل للقاسية قلوبهم من ذكر الله